This is not the Trek show you're looking for.
It is, but it also isn't. We've transmogrified into an alternate universe where all is possible if you have little tiny bugs in your body that give you superpowers. Or you ignore entirely.
Yep.
And anybody can be. I'm pretty sure Last Jedi is trying to say anyone can be a Jedi, midichlorians or not. Otherwise, you're saying that everyone's midichlorians in some way. And it's like, well,
Yeah.
yeah. As if they don't have a solid messaging over the course of all the generations. Shocking. Shocking. Not shocking. Hi, Stuart. May the force be with you.
And also with you.
Thank you, sir.
Anyway, yes. Looking at Star Wars games today, there's been many, probably so many that we can't put them all on this list. We've extracted the best ones anyway.
And it's one of those funny things where, as I was doing prep for this, when we did that, it made me annoyed there's no Star Trek games.
Mm-hmm.
You know? There's been some, and few and far between now. But it's like, would have been nice to have more.
Agreed.
Just saying, because there's a broad spectrum in the Star Wars field, and many of them are extremely good.
Level.
So I'm going to start sharing.
Go for it. 14 of you here, 7 likes, guys. Hit that like button if you're able to. We'd really appreciate that. It helps us out immensely. So does participating in these lives with super chats or just in the regular chat. Although with the tiered list, if you don't agree on a selection or where we place it, you can bump it up and down 1 or 2 tiers depending on the super chat amount. $5 minimum for 1 tier up or down either way. But if you feel really passionate about a game, this is like a community list until the end, and then you can swap it around and put it to our list. But you guys get to put your input and change things as you see fit. And I would really encourage that, because it's quite fun to see the games you used to play and used to be really. I've discovered some. We'll talk about that when we get there. Anyway, in the meantime, hit that like button, join the channel if you're able to, or head over to Patreon/Trekyards and help us out over there, or check the links down below. There are links to the Teespring and the TeePublic store with some really cool Trekyards merch. If you want to pick yourself up some, we'd really appreciate that. And anything you can do to help us out, sharing the videos around, just making sure you like them and comment on all of the videos. And make sure you're clicking that bell notification icon to all as well, so you get notified every time we upload. So, all very important things. So, Sam's back.
I am. Yes, I am.
As I was saying, when I was going through lists of Star Wars games, I was like, oh shit, I had that one. I remember that so much. And then I had to go on YouTube and watch like gameplay footage of it and stuff, because it was so long ago. It was on my old IBM laptop, the IBM CDs, or 755 CD. 750 megabytes.
That's a lot.
How big the hard drive was.
That's a lot, man.
Yeah. So there's a lot of good games on here from the olden times, and a lot of newer ones as well. So it should be fun.
I think unlike the television rankings we do, or characters where you can have a single appearance that stands out, or TV shows where they are, of course, aging, but a modern fan can happily go watch a Teras episode and not think twice. This sort of list is incredibly generational, meaning anyone under 17 today isn't necessarily going to play stuff that you and me would think, well, that's an old game. Even though it's not, but in our memory it is. And therefore there's games that, because, either they're sort of one platform, or you'd missed the boat by a couple of years, or you didn't play the first one because then suddenly your dad got a better PC and you could play the second one. But the first, that's going to be a big thing here. So, obviously we all had our eras. I played a lot of these games. I've not played all these games. The complexity gets radically bigger and higher as the games go on. So of course, I don't think this is a objective list, unlike other things, because it's going to be a lot about when we played them, how we played them. Because I know there's one famous Empire Strikes Back Hoth level in like a 2D down, like really basic game, and you can't compare that in quality to the Force Unleashed 1, we might say it's higher. Objectively, it's not in any way, but it might be in the remembrance, the gameplay, the fun you had. So this is certainly an us list versus a,
plus for the time as well.
Yes,
good for the time.
It was like saying Pac-Man versus Last of Us. It's like, comparing them is a very tricky thing.
Well, they're not even the same genre of game, those two, though.
No, it is. But a lot of these aren't either. So RTS is not the same as a first person to a third person to, it's pretty broad, this stuff. But I have opinions on the stuff I have opinions on. And, it's a testament to how many good ideas have been had. So well done. And there's also a non-applicable side, as you know, Stuart, of things that we just have not played because, I'm sure you aged out of them and I wasn't born.
I never aged out of them. That is just silly.
Oh.
I was there at the beginning. Damn it.
No, I mean, out of certain ones. Yeah. So, did you play Connect?
Oh, no, the hardware.
Did you play Connect Star Wars? The dance party one? I think you aged out of that one.
I just didn't have an Xbox Connects. Otherwise, I would have.
Oh, there you go. You got it, shouldn't you?
No.
Okay.
PlayStation. But yeah, so it'll be quite a discussion. We don't have to over discuss all of them. There are a lot on the list, so we don't want to drag it out too long. But some of them might be non-applicable and go in the we don't know column. So we're hoping on you guys will step in, and if something is really passionate, you have good memories about something, you might want to put it somewhere on the list, or so we want to hear from you guys. All right. Well, should we get started? All right.
And there's a poll.
And there's a poll, which I got to read first before I can do this. Do you have one favorite Star Wars game? Yep, one stands out. No, I have 1 to 5. And, of course, the fucking thing closes. So many good ones I can't pick.
Yeah.
I don't think you can pick one favorite one.
I mean,
there's too many.
Oh, yeah. I think I'll be forced to in this live. It's like if you had to pick sort of thing. It's like you have a favourite child if you had to pick, that sort of thing. It's by like 0.5%. Yes.
I don't like doing that because it's not really fair. Personally.
But if you had to. Yes, guys, as always, your super chats will move things around. If you have passion thoughts, you'll be part of this equation. So, Stuart, take us away.
Boom, baby. Star Wars, Masters of Teras for the PlayStation. This is the fighting game, Mortal Kombat style, which had a quite interesting list of characters.
Never even heard of this.
Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, Han Solo, Princess Leia, Chewbacca, Arden Lynn, Boba Fett, Stormtrooper, Hor, a Tusken Raider, Thok, a Gamorrean guard, Princess Leia in the Bikini, Mara Jade, and Judo Cast. This I played a lot on the PlayStation. It was cool to see Star Wars characters battling it out Mortal Kombat style with special move sets and stuff like that. And it's not a good game though. It's a very low rated game, and for many reasons. But it was cool to have something like this because we never had a fighting game with Star Wars characters before, and I remember having a lot of fun with it. So
I never owned a PS2, therefore this didn't come on my. I guess PS1. This is cool. I haven't even heard of this. I guess it's one of those things where it works on a fun, not logical level, because you can't really compare any lightsabers to any blasters, so they kind of I'm sure balance that with neither what they should be. Fight. Like it's not a.
They all had special moves too, like Mortal Kombat. So
it's kind of fun. One lightsaber is dead. Like you know what I mean? Like there's I don't think you'd play that as well now without huge things. Well, I've never played it, so I have nothing to say on it in that regard. But it looks kind of cool. Although Boba's the wrong color.
A lot of people would say F. I'm going to give it a D because for playability, it stands out as basically like a fighting game, which is not something you get from Star Wars. So
no, that's super unique.
So I'm going to put it at D because I did have fun with it, and it is fun to kind of revisit every once in a while.
I'm sure it's one that felt better at the time. Like, wow, that's as good as we can do. But limitations of time, I'm sure a lot of that was because of limitations of just the tech.
Yeah, and the Teras is a special form of martial arts, which is now considered canon in Star Wars, but it was made up for this game. So, yeah.
Ooh, weird. I like it.
Yeah. All right, so there's the first one.
Very nice.
Next up, we'll pull in. Boom.
Ah, yes. Leap Force. No. No. Force Unleashed 2. The would have been good had the first one not come out game. I mean, we all know that. Well, it's a hugely rushed development. I think we had like 7.5 months to finish, from start to finish. So the other one was a long development. This one was a very short one. While it is the same, it's very much a continuation. It's very short. It's not as creatively interesting because, of course, they just had to go. They didn't. I don't think they did much better in terms of like powers or graphics. It was a little bit more, but it was just sort of like, oh, and this could have been like a 10 game series. They just nailed the second one.
Yeah,
it burned it out straight away.
The problem is that they shoehorned it into the timeline, so they couldn't really make 10 of them because you have to kind of wrap things up with the character before the next movie kind of thing. But
well, they could have embraced that alternate universe-ness they did in the DLC.
Well, I was just going to say the DLCs for this one had some really good alternate universe stuff, which I really enjoyed.
Both versions of the game, 1 and 2, then continued the arc. So you got like multiple missions, like you killed Obi-Wan and Han, and it's very that's almost the best part of the stuff is just watch those and be satisfied.
Yeah, the sad thing about this was it was basically the same game as the first one, but a lot shorter, and
like 6 hours, 5 hours, very short.
Yeah, it was very short, and if they had spent more time on it and not rushed it out, I think that would have been a lot better. But I really enjoy the Force Unleashed games. Being able to wield Force powers is really fantastic. So
I think my overall problem with this, besides the technical, is that this first game story is so interesting and creative. This one, spoilers, he's just a clone. It's like, oh, like it is for me a poor way of bringing him back, and it never comes back from that as a concept. So it feels like a Force echo of its previous self. But the gameplay is still fine. But that's the thing. I'll happily say a C because its fundamentals are all strong, but it lets itself down in many other ways. But its fundamentals are strong.
Yeah, I would say C is good. Is fair.
And if you can finish it in one, not even one day, one go. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's sad because the actor then went on to be in several Star Wars animated. He's a huge Star Wars fan. He ended up correcting Dave Filoni on the set of the recording booth of one of the. He's like, I think he's saying like Padme can't meet this person, and Dave Filoni's like, because he wrote the script, and he's like, why not? And he's like, well, this, and he's like, oh shit! So he rewrote the script on the day. He's like, thank you, Sam Witwer, for helping us fix a canon mistake that we were currently doing. Oops.
Yeah. All right.
Hi,
Next up, it's another one I played a lot of. Star Wars Force Commander. This is like a castle defense. It's basically Star Trek Armada, but on the ground. Because there was a Star Trek New Worlds, which was the same as this ground stuff. That's what this was. So you got to do Rebels or Imperials and build walkers, build stations, defend them. It's fun. It was really fun. It was a time sucker for sure. Again, I had it for my laptop and played it a lot. And really enjoyed the hell out of it. But going back and looking at the graphics and gameplay now, first of all, when you stream or when you put gameplay footage on YouTube, turn the fucking music off or turn it down because the music's cranked right up. So watching it is torturous if you want to hear any of the other audio. Anyway, because I went back and checked out some footage of this. And yeah, it's a little archaic, but it was really fun to play. So the fun factor outweighs the the graphical nature of it. But
what was the storyline, or was it just a pure fighting without like a story?
I don't remember the storyline.
Because that's where these often can do really well. We're throwing into the sandbox of Star Wars with the units. That's cool. But if there's an interesting story to go with it. Yeah, this one I didn't play because it was slightly... Well, it was 2000, so I didn't even have a computer in any form. But I remember seeing this as like games from a couple of years ago, which we couldn't run or play or buy because there was also no eBay. So like, if you didn't buy it at the time, I just remember this was like, oh, this is one of those previous games that people liked. I remember, I think I must have seen it around 2004 or 5. I remember thinking the graphics weren't good; they were okay. Like they weren't like, cutting edge at the time. They were just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
They just made a base level experience.
But there were so many different kind of. It's like Armada for Star Trek. It showed a bunch of new ships, new stations.
Yeah.
So there were a bunch of new walkers you could build. There's a whole bunch of other stuff that I think eventually a lot of it became canon. But it was just fun. It was just fun.
That's great. Where do you want to play?
I still have it. I still have these games too. They're all on CD for the computer. So
not even surprised.
Right?
Where does your gut say then?
I want to say. I think we put Force Unleashed way too low. It should be a B, maybe. Because this one I want to put as a C, but it's a different kind of gameplay. So I don't know.
But I think disappointment comes in for Force Unleashed. Like it was a bad sequel, and that's a problem. Yeah. You know.
I'll put this at C.
Yeah, you can have a high and low.
All right.
Yeah, I mean the graphics look good, just not. You know, they're doing their job well. I like what I'm seeing.
Mm-hmm.
I do like these sorts of games, and just seeing your ability to control these units in the wild is always just satisfying. Always.
Yeah. And like I said, it's a big time suck. You start a game and like before you realize it's 3 hours later. Ray Ricks, £5. Force Unleashed 2 gets a bad rap. Nowhere near as good as the first one, but still highly playable. B tier.
There we go. The people have spoken.
The Ray has spoken.
Also that.
All right.
Ray of sunshine.
So what is next?
Yeah, let's know what you guys think.
Star Wars Battlefront.
Now this one I played extensively. That's exactly when I had free time in my era. It was a giant deal at the time. This was a proper modern first-person shooter with very good graphics at the time, very faithful to lore. It was land, sea, and air, or the equivalent. You know, it was giving the entire sandbox in one game. Good campaign as much as it was. Wasn't really a campaign, but it was a strung together set of stories that felt like a campaign. And maybe it's harder to not remember this compared to the second one because they are so similar. But this is obviously the original game back in the day. But it was just really, really fun. Really solid controls. Like I said, good graphics, variety. I'm pretty sure this one had all the eras as well. Yeah, so just like it was just fun. The second one then added heroes, which was a big deal, and just more maps. But this already kind of had everything. I remember thinking, well, we've got the experience. The second one, like, okay. I think space that this one was missing, perhaps like a proper space thing, because I think that was quite limited. But yeah, really fun, really good, and just it was all bot based. I didn't do online stuff because I didn't think we had internet fast enough. But the idea that you could have there's like 100 units each side, and you saw it count down, and you were either in the fight useful or you weren't, and you're seeing it go down. Oh no! But I've had many battles where, you know, we're down to 3 people. Obviously, it's me and fake people, but I'm like in a corner, so I'm like, damn it, okay, I'll let the other 2 people take out the 50 other people who are left that aren't us. Oh no, it's just me. And then like, can the AI find me? And then okay, pot shots. Oh, I died, but he's got 3. I killed three of them. You know, so there's some fond memories of just silliness.
Yeah, I don't have anything to say. I never played this one.
You never played it?
I don't know why.
Oh, this is like a cult. This is like a. It's like a
I know.
Time.
I don't know.
I think if you were doing real life stuff, of course, then it wouldn't be, you know. Yeah, I mean, this is a solid A or S. I mean, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It just now doesn't look as good compared to nowadays. I mean, it really is. There's very little to improve in it as an experience.
Don't put it as A for now.
Yeah. Because they do kind of blend together a bit. This one and the second one. The second one had more variety, but this one had a certain like, wow, this was impressive. Second one didn't have.
All right. Cool. All right. Next up is Rebel Assault 2: The Hidden Empire.
How did I say that?
Played this one extensively, and the first one, Rebel Assault. This was a huge improvement over the first one, though. It's kind of an on-the-rails shooter, but it's also it loops through. Like if you miss all the guns on the Star Destroyer, you have to go back around and do it again, and get TIE fighters coming at you. And it changes it up. It's also got video capture, so like there's cut scenes with like actual people, and it's done really well on green screen. It's a short game though, like from beginning to end, it's like hour 15.
So it's kind of a short movie.
Yes, well, that's exactly what it was.
Oh.
And it tries to fit it into the actual story, Rebel Assault as well, which we'll get to in a second. It's the same kind of deal, but this one's much better than the first one for multiple reasons. The cutscenes are way better, and you actually, controlling the ridicule or the aiming is much easier in this one. So different varieties of gameplay, walking through corridors, shooting stormtroopers disguised as a stormtrooper. There's speeder bike racing. There's X-wing. Actually, in this one, you fly A-wing, X-wing, Y-wing, and a B-wing. You get to fly all of them, so it'll give you a good variety. And it was pretty fun. It was, again, another huge time suck. And
just kept doing the same hour and 15 again and again and again.
Also, well, it was longer than that because you always ended up dying.
Okay.
Some of them were quite difficult. You'd hit things or whatever and die. You only had a certain number of lives, and then you had cheat codes for each level where you could start again at that level.
Yeah. So I think point and click, and therefore on rail is a certain undervalued genre. Because you could really focus.
It's a fan film with interactivity. That's what it is.
Yeah, you can really focus the experience.
Yeah.
Like, you could deliver a big grand epicness because you have no fucking say what you're doing. Mm-hmm. You go this way, And I'm looking at the box art. There's a whole new TIE fighter on the back that I think did become.
That's the whole point of the mission. There's a new advanced TIE fighter that you got to steal, and then destroy the factory that they're making them in.
Yeah.
And at the end, there's a post-credit scene for the game. Spoilers. You end up stealing the TIE fighter, land it, the mission's over, yay! And at the end, it's like, I really hope we can get some good information from this top-secret TIE fighter and get an advantage on the Empire. And you see the TIE fighter over on the platform. You get a shot of inside, and you see like a screen light up, and it's the ship, and it diverts power from its power core and to something else. And then you see the long shot again, and it just blows up on the pad. It was a self-destruct feature, so that Anyway, yeah, it's a post-credit scene.
Okay.
Which is way back when, so
yeah, sure, they
pretty cool. They were going to do a third one, and they never got to it.
Yeah,
it never did come out. So
I'm looking at images, and was it actually like a live-action set that you controlled? Like it looks like almost like they filmed something and then you pointed in it with a person.
Pretty much. I'm pretty sure they did it all on like all their cutscenes on green screen. But
yeah.
But it's really cool. Like people would come around the corner and fire at you and go back around, and you gotta like shoot them.
Because you could do that like as a practical film thing.
There'd be like it was. I think it was full it was full motion video kind of thing. So, but they always came in the same way. Even after you shot one, another guy would come in right after, same position and all that. But there's like 3 or 4 different positions for a lot of them. This one also included night vision on the stormtrooper helmet. So when you're infiltrating the base, you have to go into the sewer where it's dark, and then you get like night vision stormtrooper mode, which is really cool. So
nice.
Yeah.
And that sounds like a fun time. It's like how do you review Star Trek Borg now? It's like it's not really a game. It's a movie that has a point and click, but it's an incredibly interesting movie piece. So it should be high ranked in the. You know what I mean? Like, well, how am I meant to?
Yeah, and I had forgotten I owned and played these Rebel Assaults until I started doing this list. And it's like, shit, I still have them. They're in.
That's awesome.
Packed away.
That's awesome. What do you guys think? Have you played it? Where do you want to put?
Yeah, this one for fun factor. I want to put.
Is it more fun than Force Unleashed 2?
Yes. Okay. Especially back then. Like, this was some pretty advanced stuff back then.
So an A kind of is the epitome of the genre. Like, that at the time was like, that was like peak that.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah,
awesome.
I think that's fair.
Because that's the thing, you got to compare it to its own era and its own genre.
You notice the stormtrooper on the Battlefront and this guy are both firing the exact same way. What are they shooting at?
Imagine everything at A is going to be that exact angle. Cool.
Eric Martin, member for 17 months with the rank of captain.
Awesome.
I like Battlefront, but I'm getting too old to keep up with the newer stuff. I'm enjoying listening to you as I work, guys. Thank you, Eric.
I think you've got to be like a gamer parent if you're going to keep playing all the new stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I have played. Yes, Republic Commando. Have you played this? Must have.
Nope.
Fucking hell. Jesus. Yes, Republic Commando. This is an Xbox/PC game that was. I just watched something about it recently. Actually, it was not panned at the time. It was not respected well, and it's since been realised for what it actually was, which was very, very clever. So this is a very unique shooter. It's a first-person team squad game when card was getting big enough you could actually do controlling team members, so that you sort of felt as 4 of you, and it was set 5 minutes before Attack of the Clones, as you start to be a clone, and then you first mission is Attack of the Clones, and you play the movie, the end of the movie, and then continue through a very unique situation. And you have, of course, this super specialized group of commandos with all custom kit. You have one gun the entire game, that one, the one you have, but it just like with modern military equipment, because this is a hyper advanced version, you can attach and detach elements to it to form every other gun. So that one gun, you can have sniper stuff, or grenade stuff, or shotgun stuff. Like, you can turn it into, because you're a commander, you have one gun, and it doesn't feel that repressive. Although you can steal other aliens' guns on the levels, which do add a bit of variety, especially the Wookiee shotguns, or Trandoshan's epic. But it's a very good story. The same voice actor for all 4 roles, obviously, but they're 4 different vibes, and they're all good. You get to board like famous ship types that you then see. You actually, for the first time, possibly ever, the super battle droid is actually a threat. In the movies, it's like, hey, and it stabs it, but in this, it's like a boss, because armor just takes your damage, like, to the nth degree. It's very, very difficult. Big game. You go to Kashyyyk, you go to all sorts of places. You don't do any Jedi stuff, I believe, at all. Great voiceover work. I don't remember when it ends, because I've the start's more interesting, I think, than the end. Great gunplay. Yeah, it's a really solid game. And it's, like I said, it's been appreciated more since, because you can go back. It does hold up quite well today. It's just, at the time, it was a bit weird. Yeah, really good.
The one thing I like about Star Wars games is they try to craft the games in between stories or as other elements to a movie that you didn't see. And they really take the canon to heart, and I really like that. I appreciate that. So
this is a game. This is a game you'd absolutely love. Just like structurally, you'd just be down for this. Like lots and lots of shooting things, like that level of it's quite an intense game. And they've got some little because everything's obviously from your visor perspective, so everything in your HUD is all in your HUD. And there's my favorite little detail, which is such a simple detail, but so if you picture a Geonosian, right? From if you get up to one and either so close you can shoot it or stab it with your inbuilt knife, it'll blood splat on your face, and then your visor will do this and clean it like a window wiper.
That's funny.
And it never fails to be a little bit amusing. And also rain, same thing. Rain will drop it, it'll clean it. So really, really fun. This should have been, again, multi-episode, multi-things. Happy to give it an A as well, because it is what it's trying to do. It's unique, and to make it so grounded in these clones are real characters. They're actual, like, you like to relate to them. I don't know if there's many famous cameos. It's pretty standalone in its own regard, but you'd enjoy this. I would recommend playing it if you can, because it's definitely worth it. I would say it's probably a lower A than Battlefront, because the experience of Battlefront is a cleaner, easier fun with more visual spectacle. Because Commando, I think, had some shortfalls of maybe some bad pacing, but I think what it was doing was exceptional for the time. Just, I would have made a few tweaks personally, but I think a low A is still very fair.
Perfect. Feed Me Seymour. I'm actually in an Xbox party with my mate Jason Monday. I'm on this live through the speakers, and he's playing Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Goodness.
Nice.
Hello. Evening. Good morning. Welcome. That's absolutely amazing. Yeah.
All right, next up is Rebel Assault, the first one.
It's like a cartoon one. That's cool. Great.
Well, yeah, the graphics were way more 8-pixely, but it was the same kind of gameplay, but very hard to control in some of the levels. And you got to actually do the attack on the Death Star, and you're the one that fires the proton torpedoes, not Luke Skywalker. So it kind of retcons.
He just took the credit.
Yeah, but you get to do a lot of training. You fly a T-16 Skyhopper. You fly X-wing. You fly. I think you fly an A-wing in this one.
Is that all from the cockpit view, or is it exterior, or?
Oh, a lot of it's exterior, like looking down at the canyon. You got to shoot stuff on the ground. Other stuff, you're behind the ship and you got to fly through the canyon.
Do you have a choice? Is it choose what perspective?
No, you don't have a choice. It's on the rails. It's very difficult to control though, so there is a lot of death happening because you slam into walls and stuff.
So it's frustrating. Not a good frustrating. It's a frustrating.
It's a frustrating. Yeah, from what I recall. So, but for the time, it was really cool to be like in the Star Wars movie essentially, and it was fun, but it was quite frustrating. And it's the same thing. It's about the full length is maybe just over an hour, but the levels are so difficult that you have to redo them multiple times to actually get through it. So. Fat Produce, $2. The best Star Wars game of all times is TIE Fighter. Yes. So this one I'm going to rank as a C. It was really fun for the time, but when the second one came out, you just totally ignored this one and just played the second one, because the second one was hands down a huge improvement.
Yeah, one of those things where the concept's solid, but the learning curve proved how poor the first one was.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, cool.
All right.
Nowadays.
Let's go with this one.
Oh yes, now you've played this one. You have, yes.
No.
Oh, for sake. It's like all the big definitive ones of the 2000s you just skipped. Goodness.
I had wife and kids.
Well, that's what I mean.
Kids, toddlers at the time.
I used to like the definitive. All right. Empire at War. This is the Armada 1 and 2 of the Star Wars games, made by a very well-known company for this stuff. It was at a time when Star Wars wasn't really doing as much as much good stuff. I'll say I recall, and this was announced, and it was at the time everything you wanted from a game. It was both a classic formula, but also it had a very good own vibe, meaning you could do space combat, you could do ground combat, and you could do galactic takeover stuff. It's a little bit simplistic once you break down everything together, but it's very time suck addictive, because if you get into a really good galactic conquest game where you control 6 planets and you keep taking over, the joke for me personally is that the ground was only okay, because it understood the limitations of the PC hardware, which was you couldn't only have so many polygons on screen, because the maps are quite elaborate for the time. So you only had, I'm recalling vaguely, let's say 20 units you could possibly use. That's it. So the battles are actually quite small relative to how big they could have been. It's because the maps are so impressive, because they always had like landmarks. Like if you had Jabba's Tatooine, you have buildings, and that was why it was big. But the space stuff was exceptional because the units were really well detailed. There was a whole variety of them. It was really, really satisfying to hyperspace in like 20 Mon Calamari battle ships and watch the enemy be like, oh no. Very, very satisfying. And it's been one of the most modded games of all time, because the engine is quite flexible actually, and just the core gameplay is so strong that there's been a huge modding community to add Battlestar Galactica, Stargate, Star Trek, Halo. There's loads of Star Wars mods to this, because the game, like, they can take a lot of things on board too. There's mods that have added like 200 new units, 5 new factions, 3 times. There's one that had, so to say the main map is like 30 planets. I remember one mod made like 130, and it was so big that they were so close together you could barely use it, because they were like, like the map won't go any, you can't zoom out any further, so they had to cram them in. So it was horribly eccentric. And the further you went in the missions in the big game, you'd have resources per planet. But every time you were forced to attack and be in a ground combat, I was like, ugh, this is kind of dull. But the space was so excellent, you kept playing. It's definitely an S in terms of like, it ticked every box. And I would still play it today and have a good time, with some mods being funner. But the Star Wars mods and the Halo mods are really amazing, because the mods are just good enough to get away with murder. Like, yes, they're just good enough. And just, yeah, this is like, I mean, if you haven't played it, this is like, yeah, really, really excellent.
I will have to check it out.
Yeah.
Let's see. Fat Produce, $2. The best Star. Oh, I read that one. Never mind. $2. Empire at War or Armada 2? Which wins?
Well, Empire at War did more things because Armada 2 is fun, I guess, in short batches. You couldn't play like 8 hours of Armada 2, but you could play lots of small. I think Elite Force is a general package over. Well, the story is great in Armada. And as soon as you're adding mods, like Armada 2 was a bitch to mod, Elite Force was a dream to mod. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and it was massively promoted. It was a huge deal at the time. Like, this is like, we are next gen gaming. Yeah.
I might have. I don't know. I can't see me not playing that, but anyway. Next up.
Okay.
X-Wing versus TIE Fighter. Now, there's also TIE Fighter and X-Wing. TIE Fighter came first, then X-Wing.
Yes.
I had TIE Fighter, and I had X-Wing versus TIE Fighter. I never got X-Wing. This was a good merging of the two, for sure. I got to play as either side, and the in-cockpit battles were amazing. I don't remember much specifics from it. I just remember it was head and shoulders above the original TIE Fighter game, especially graphically. And it was just a hell of a fun time to play this. Any kind of like ship simulator I find fun, and X-Wings are actually pretty fun to pilot. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Did you play this one?
I played. Well, yeah, I didn't know that version existed. I knew there was X-Wing vs TIE Fighter and Anniversary. I played the Anniversary version, I believe. I guess it's a sequel again that hybridized them. I played the one that was the Empire version. That was great. I thought it was tremendous. The story was good. The battlings were great.
The stories were great, yeah.
Because they couldn't do much, so they made them grand in concept, but obviously you didn't see much of it. Yeah. Wow, this giant fleet. Darth Vader's doing this stuff. All you're seeing is a cockpit and a ship, but it felt big because you're being taught. I thought that was tremendous, and actually we even bought a second-hand joystick thing for it because you had to have a joystick for it, which was like nothing did need that in our world, so I had a really shitty one, which wasn't a good experience really. I'm sure it was a very, very low-end second-hand one, but I got to play it, and that was fun. It was definitely the one I played, I'm sure will come up at some point, was the cleanest feeling fighter combat I've ever played and ever have. But I haven't played this specific version of it, but yeah.
Fat Produce, $5.
Oh.
There's a mod for X-Wing versus TIE Fighter that allows you to play the entirety of the TIE Fighter campaign co-op with your friends online. Even today, people play. Yeah.
Very
The
cool.
modding community really makes these games sing sometimes.
Because if you've got a good core game loop or just good controls, like Bridge Commander for Star Trek, like it's just fun. The bit is to play, so if you add stuff and change it.
And an easy engine to mod as well. It's important.
Yeah.
This I want to give an A, solid A.
Okay. I feel like Star Wars is kind of built for this sort of game. Which is why they've done so many. I don't know how they're all different, obviously, but how many of them did you play then of the series?
Well, I played the Anniversary one. I played this one, and I played the original X-Wing.
Okay.
So.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay, what's this one? Jedi Starfighter.
Yeah, that was a weird. I was like one of the 6 tie-ins Attack of the Clones. I didn't have any sort of gaming ability at Attack of the Clones yet, so
I never played this one, so
no idea.
It's our first NA. Yeah.
Yep. I've seen some videos which mention it, and I think it's quite fun, but a bit silly, but also not. From what I recall, it does weird things with the movie lore because I think they hadn't quite got a fully finished script for Attack of the Clones. Like it didn't quite get things right, but it was fun apparently, but not quite there. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I like that.
Yeah, I don't know if
fighter,
you
though.
can contribute on that one.
I would like more games like Fighter. It's a great design.
Yoda Stories. I had this. This is like a desktop game. It opens up in a little window, and it's like you're Luke, and you move around, and then you can play as Yoda, and you meet Yoda, and you got to do little missions, and they always change. They always randomize.
Oh, that's cute. It's like Pokemon.
Yeah, and there was also an Indiana Jones one like this.
Oh,
Indiana
that's
Jones
fantastic.
Stories. It was fun to play. It was a nice side diversion, and
So
it always
stupid
opened up in a
looking. I love
window.
it.
You could never full screen it. It was always windowed, and you had to go find things and assemble things, and it was kind of tedious at times, but it was also the graphics were quite, like you said, cute,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it was a nice time waster as well. But while you were
Yeah.
doing other things, you kind of like put it up in a window and then go do something else and then come back. And so I still have this as well. But yeah, the little icons for it are quite amusing. So yeah,
No,
it's
that's
fun.
great. And I just unlocked a sense memory for me. I've played another franchise clone of this, clearly, or this was a clone of that. Almost the exact same art style. I loved it. It was great, and it came out of a cereal box.
Hmm.
So I was like, "Oh, we got a video game." And it was great because we had 3 video games. I remember thinking, "Oh, it was great. It's a video game." This is great. This was fun. This is the sort of game you could make today, like as a model. Like you just make it, right. It's not that difficult to make, but like you do so much creatively with this, picking stuff up and going, knowing the limitations of what you're trying to do, will mean you can be like, wow, we're going to Mustafar and we're going, like all these amazing things, but keep it in the simple vibe.
Yeah, yeah. For me, this will be a C. It wasn't super engaging, and the puzzles are sometimes very frustrating, but it
Oh,
was
really?
still fun
Yeah.
diversion.
Okay, that's
And
cool.
it wasn't like a game. It was just a time killer game, I guess. I don't know.
Well, some things are
It
style
wasn't
killers,
epic.
some things are time killers.
It wasn't epic. So,
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay.
um, Battlefront 2.
Yes, Battlefront 2. You also didn't play, I'm guessing.
Oh, I played Battlefront 2.
Oh, well, take it away.
The introduction of the heroes was awesome. Um, I remember being frustrated because you didn't have the heroes right away, and also to see them on the field when it kind of sucked, honestly. So it was good but bad. This one also took away. You couldn't go prone. I think you go prone in the first one, and this one you couldn't, which was just kind of odd. But yeah, just the multiplayer on this is fantastic and really fun but frustrating. I found I liked all of the graphics were great. The environments were great. There was a lot of really fun ways to interact. Hoth was awesome as well. Really enjoyed the Hoth battles. So yeah, um,
See, this one for me is I like it less than the first one. I'm not 100% sure why. It might be a
mhm,
small token. I think it became slightly more arcadey, like a little bit more.
mhm,
But yeah, the cell obviously look at the front cover of this version, heroes, but they realize going in we can't actually give them heroes because then everyone would
yeah,
be a hero and it would win. So they're massively nerfed in the sense of like it's like you get like 60 seconds
yeah,
sometimes, and in multiplayer if someone grabs them, it's very broken in that like a true fan would want, right? You're not encouraged to use them, and I think yeah, if I recall, the heroes have to kill people to keep your health up beyond 60 seconds of health. So often, if I remember you were like 3 minutes into a 5 minute game and there's only 20 people left, and you get the hero, but you're spawned the other side of the map, and you can't even get to the person quick enough, the
yeah,
closest person, so you die. So it creates that. But they were big on this one, space battles. They went up massively from being really simple to just bigger. They're not necessarily better in the sense of they're not like true space battles, but they're just more complicated
yeah,
where you have a capital ship, 2 side ships. You can go into them, which was a huge deal at the time. Like, wow, interiors, and then you blow stuff up, and it's very fun to like go into a capital ship, take over one. So you can go in a seat, and use the big ship's small guns on the outside to shoot the small side ships, which is very satisfying. But the fighters were very very fun to play. They were very good. More units as well, more eras, more variants. The story was very very good. This was a true 501st story. First one was less structured, where they have voiceovers by the guy that played Django, who's the clone trooper, and it told a story from because they had all the eras. It was a more complete experience, properly. I mean, you obviously know, but I'm telling the audience that you started from right, I suppose, at Camino before the films
mhm,
to Empire, and you then transitioned from the different clone armors as you go, which was a testament to them having all the different versions because they had them all, but they'd be real stories. Now it was just using the multiplayer maps to do a go to A and shoot A, but it felt narrative and cool. But the missions would be unique little things, like you go Endor and shoot Ewoks, which you can't do it can't do multiplayer. My favourite level, once you're like 3 into the Empire story, which you're the hero still, so it's like, wow, the Empire, great guys. There's a story where Kaminoans are like, we hate the Empire now, we're going to rebel and make new clones again, because we can just make new clones. And you, as a stormtrooper, have to go kill clones. And it's like, but I was those guys like 8 missions ago. Very, very satisfying. Yeah, I'll give it an A as well, because something about it doesn't quite... because I don't think it's actually better than the first one. But throw in your thoughts.
I was thinking high B, but I'm willing to go low A for sure, because it was fun but frustrating, as I said.
But if you didn't go heroes, it was less frustrating. It's just the gimmicks they wanted you to utilize were frustrating. But I remember a lot of unique one-offs, like maps of unique one-off things that were really fun. So you could kind of hone your experience a bit. And the campaign was much better than 1. That was really genuinely fun, like 10 hours to just play. Yeah, that was really fun.
Yeah. Okay.
Wish they made a 3rd, because there's a leaked build of number 3 where the big promise was you could actually fly from the ground to the space in 1 move, and you could. So you could go to Coruscant, and then it just, annoying. Really annoying. It looked really good.
All right. Next up, we got Galactic Battlegrounds.
This one I have confused thoughts about. Not that I've played it, but I have confused memories of this from the time. Did you play it?
I did, yes. As I recall, it's very much like the Force Commander.
Force Commander.
Yeah, the one we already talked about.
No, it's Elite Force.
No, Force Commander.
Oh, right. Sorry, yeah.
Same kind of style of gameplay. I'm pretty sure I had this one. Either that or I'm getting confused with Force Commander. Maybe I didn't have Galactic Battlegrounds, actually. Hold on, let me look. Yeah.
Guys, what do you think? Are you having fun into our Star Wars reminiscence? Super chat your thoughts, comments, and questions. Another few. Have us move some things. Have some thoughts. Let us know. Did you play Battlefront? Did you play Empire War?
Yes, I did play this.
And in fact, right now in the comments, guys, spam the chat with your favourite Star Wars game or one of your top 3. Throw us out one of your top 3. Let's get some names in the chat. Let's see what you guys think.
Yeah, this one, like I said, it's basically a castle defense thing where you build bases and build scout troops and also walkers and also flying ships, which just hover above the ground. But it was really fun. It's basically Armada 2 again for Star Wars. But that's all I got really specifically, because I think I'm getting this confused a little bit with Force Commander, which is the same thing. Same kind of gameplay.
Now, I might be wrong, because I've actually played it, because it was, again, one that was not one of those top-tier, big, expensive games that was therefore more available. This was far more of a, if you had it, you had it, or if it was a second-hand, you bumped into it, because they often, okay, that was what happened. But this one, the only thing I have in my brain about it is that it wasn't well-reviewed, and people was not vibing good about it. It felt, at the time, it was a cheaper, unremarkable game. And in fact, that front cover is, let's be honest with you, that's an uninspired front cover.
Yeah.
That's like...
Looking at the gameplay footage as well, the stills on Google. Uninspired.
Yeah. So that's why I remember. So it came, went. That's what I remember from this one. But I think that's another NA, Stuart, because I don't think we either have any thoughts about it particularly.
Yeah, I'd be willing to do that for sure. I know I have this though in my collection somewhere.
And that's why I remember Empire War was such a big deal, because they really put a lot of money and time into it, and it was a big company. That just worked as a formula. And I think tech evolved enough to get it. And these ones were earlier. There's a Geonosian fight one that I'm sure we'll get to later, which is a similar vein. It wasn't well reviewed, it wasn't well liked. It was just all there and went. Elite Force kind of like that hit and stayed, and it's still modded today. Literally today, and it's like been like 18 years, 20 years, right? It's ridiculous.
And Mark Lawrence, $5. Anyone remember Jedi Arena on the Atari 2600? You guys going back that far? No, we didn't include the 2600 games. Sorry.
No, he's definitely not alive.
Plus the games all suck. So
They're more experiences, yeah. Oh, 2 Jedi Academy call-outs. Nice. Alright, okay, cool. Good to know we haven't played. I like it.
What is next? This one I found, and I figured somebody might know about it.
Ooh.
I've never played it, but Jedi Knight Mysteries of the Sith.
Okay. I can know
You
Jedi
haven't
Knight
played
Modicum, but not Knights of the... Is that a mod?
I think it's either a sequel, follow-up, or like a additional missions kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay, it's on Steam, which is unusual. I've never even heard of it. But it's a
I hadn't either, but I found it, and I'm like, maybe Sam knows about this.
There we go. Mysteries of the Sith is an expansion, Jedi Knight Dark Forces 2. Okay. Which makes sense. That's kind of what I was vibing based on the graphic looks. Oh, that's not... Oh, that's not very good.
Well, put it over in the NA section for sure. I figured somebody might know about it, so...
I mean, great, you can still get it now. That's tremendous.
Yeah. Alright. So, sorry about that one. We'll throw in this one. X-Wing Alliance.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yes, I believe that...
So that's a better front cover. Ah, okay, so I've played one of these, I believe. Or did I just own it and not play it?
Let me see.
It looks pretty cool. I mean, it looks like on a TIE Fighter, but bigger game. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I owned a version of this, but I think it might... See, I had this problem back in the day, in like 2004, when there'd be games at second-hand, like lower brand stores, and buy them, and they wouldn't work. And you think, well, it's only £2. Mum bought me, I'm not going to take it back. I think, yeah, I had this front cover, it didn't work on my machine, and that annoyed me to no end. It looked cool.
Yeah. I don't think I actually played this one, actually.
Yeah, I definitely owned that cover.
Well,
that does work, though.
That'll be an NA then.
Because that was a problem back in the day.
Damn. Lots of Star Wars games. Too many. And a lot of them are alike. Like these X-Wing ones. Yep. It's just like, have I played this? Because it looks familiar.
Well, especially as graphics at the time, there's only so far they could take it, right? Like,
yeah.
And a lot of them use the same assets, because why wouldn't you? But then they literally look the same. You know.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Next up is Star Wars Racer. This is for N64. Yeah, I got this on the N64 when it first came out, and I wished it wasn't just pod racers at the time, but it was still really fun to play. And with the N64 controller as well, it was super easy to play. But you'd had jumps. You could like do everything that you saw in the pod racer scene from the movie, which was hella fun. It was quite addictive, and but not super satisfying, because I wish there would have been other vehicles besides pod racers. But
that was the next big thing. Do you have Speed Racer? Do you have Racer Revenge on there? It looks to be the PS2 sequel. It's a big giant yellow front cover.
No.
Okay, so my memory is I remember I played one of those two at my younger neighbour's house on his PS2, which I hadn't played before, and I remember thinking it was really good fun for 30 minutes, and I never thought about it again.
That's about right. Yeah.
Graphics were good. I remember thinking it was bright, visual, fast, dumb. I remember like collision didn't make sense, because like there's everything's so fragile that it doesn't make sense. Like you couldn't possibly have a game of that era where I touch it, collapse, destroy, it would break the game, right? They're meant to be fast, like dodge rooms, right? Mm. It was fun, and then we never played it again because it wasn't that fun. Then we called out dinner. And I remember thinking whatever it would be easy to see, like just for the small bit of fun it was. But yeah, how far can you go with pod racing? Because they're all kind of just junkers in a way.
Yeah.
C or D, Stuart. I'll happily throw at least this genre that I've played one of, C or D. I think it was C fun, but limitations could be a D.
Yeah, I was thinking C for fun, because I do remember playing it a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right.
It was a PS2 because I never played N64 with it.
What is next?
Okay, do the first one first.
No, because I don't know where it is.
Okay, you pick another one. I'll grab that one out. I'd rather do that in order just because they're so linked.
Star Wars Empire at War.
Already done that one. That's the current S.
Okay. Why was there two? I must have added that as well.
Yeah,
all right. What the fuck is happening right now?
I'm moving things to try and find the one.
Yeah, I had one in my hand, dragging it down, and it disappeared. So I don't know what you did with it. That's okay. Don't push stuff over to the right hand side.
I know I'm moving so I can move. I'll put it back. All right.
Okay. Star Wars Rogue Squadron. This was an N64 one as well, and
really? It looks way newer because that is fresh looking art. That's nice looking art.
Oh, it's been around for a long time. It was one of the first Star Wars games I played on the N64, and it really fun missions, I guess. The draw distance wasn't very good.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and the escort missions were super frustrating, so it was very difficult to not have the APCs get destroyed. But it was still a fun game, and the controls were all right, if I remember correctly, from N64. I think this is available on PC as well, and people complain about the controls quite a bit. But you get an E-Wing in this game as well at the end. One of the end missions has an E-Wing.
Oh, super.
Which was the first introduction that I had to it anyway. It's another X-Wing game. And this one, you can go in cockpit or you can go, third person. And it's just kind of I
love the art. That could be done today, but I have no other thoughts about it.
Yes. Oh, you never played it?
No.
Okay. This one I'll easily give a B because
did the formula very well.
A lot of good missions and a lot of good ships you can use. You can use A-Wing. You can use all the ships. And when you go unlock them all, you can go back and do the missions that actually are better with other ships that you don't get initially.
Good. So it's got replay value finally.
Yes.
And Benjamin says, "Is that the one of the World Eaters?"
I don't know.
Oh, I have seen this game. This is actually quite a famous game, I believe. Yeah, draw distances are appalling in this. Like, if you play it now, things will disappear instantly, pretty much. Yeah, this is quite a famous one, I believe, because it did some of the best Hoth battles early on. Like, they have like records for they were handled better than most games because you play them in 3D. Yeah, this is quite a well-known one. Yeah, cool. It still looks nice today. Not amazing, but that's the thing. If you cram high graphics into this much place, great graphics. Can you see the distance? No. Oh well, Devastators. Oh, okay, they're in this one. Nice. Where did you put it then? You put B. Yes, there you go. I found it. This is the only one I actually have out. I'll explain why in a minute. Yes. Knights of the Old Republic, number 1. Did you play it, Stuart?
Nope.
You should definitely play it, Stuart. This is the best Star Wars game ever made. Because it was BioWare, of course, then went to Mass Effect, which is one of the best sci-fi games series of all time. They are experts at doing crafted, character-based, dialogue-based, action-based adventures with grand scale that push the hardware to the limit. This is all those things. It was the first game in the Star Wars universe that went back 10,000 years, which made everything fresh again. With Sith and Jedi and whatnot, you had a full... And this was middle of the prequels, so it was like, wow, they're a Jedi, but we have one film, cool. This is a full council, this is a full set of people. Almost every single main cast member of the group was excellent. They were all very creative. The missions were very good. The basic story is very good. The twists are exceptional, and I'll never remember how I felt when I saw the big twist. The combat's great. The love interests are fun. The ship, Ebon Hawk, as you know, big fan favorite of mine. This was a lightning in a bottle kind of thing that I think is above an S tier. It just nails it, and I have played it afterwards, and it's still very good. Just graphically, it's not because it can't be. But yeah, this is a super S. This is actually a Star Wars movie in a video game, and it's better than all the sequels, all the prequels as a movie, like as the pure story. Even the small stuff like dealing with some people in a homestead and Dantooine is just fun and interesting and moral, and you can stab people and or save them, and yeah, double S.
Double S.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, like tremendous. And the reason I have the game is because I got assets from it. That's why. I ripped some stuff from the CD.
Ray Ricks, £5. KOTOR S tier storytelling hasn't been beaten in a game since.
Thank you, Ray. And if Ray says it's true, you know it's true.
So yeah, next up is Vader Immortal.
You love this one.
Have you played this, Samuel?
I've never had a VR thing, but I've loved seeing you play it. I've loved seeing you play it. Yeah, it looks tremendous.
It's in 3 chapters, and it is hella fun. You get to wield lightsabers, you get to throw thermal grenades, you get to use blasters, and you get to see Darth Vader in person. And when you're standing up, he's like up there. It gives him the imposing sense of what Darth Vader should be because it's VR. And again,
Vader R. What does the R stand for?
I don't know.
Sorry.
You get to use force powers with your wand controllers, so it actually feels like you're using the force more so than like Force Unleashed, which had all the force powers. But to use it in VR is and the lightsaber battle as well. And the lightsaber you get an ancient one that has a really unique shape to it, and it's really beautiful. And to just fire it up in front of you when you feel like the rumbling in your hand of the controller, it's like, oh, this is. And then to deflect blaster bolts as well. It is fun as hell. 3 chapters to it. I've live streamed it a few times because I just absolutely love it.
Now, question: did it actually finish the story? Because I thought it got cancelled and not pursued.
It's enough of a finish up into the story.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I thought
it feels like a complete story.
Okay. And I remember from your playthrough, mild spoilers of course, you're behind a wall watching Vader do something, and just the tension I remember you talking about. I felt it watching it. There's some Padme references, which I thought was tremendous. Like really, like yes, good. This game is clearly not very well moderated by Disney. They're letting them do real like canon stuff. Yay. Yeah, and the models are really good as well. I've got like all of the models from it as rips because they're like they're right here, so they have to be good.
Yeah. It's really fun to mess around with this one.
But it does show how difficult VR is. But also, if you just play into the gimmick of it, have fun, right?
Right, this one I'll give it an A.
I think you should put it as an A. There was a VR like test thingy that they did, which was also very clever. But this is like, ooh, I really hope they do more of these because that's such an obvious Star Wars thing. Just like to pilot well, I guess you could in one of those, but like, yeah, more VR is good for Star Wars, I think.
Oh yeah, VR is awesome.
Nice.
All right, what is next? I don't know. I'll just pull this one down, whatever it is. Dark Forces.
Oh yes, classic.
Did you play it?
Sort of. There's multi episodes, there's multi things. Let me remind myself which one that is.
This is with Dash Rendar.
Yeah, I mean this is the Star Wars game franchise for a while.
Yeah.
These were very, 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 very popular. I've watched many a playthrough of this. This was based on the, Duke Nukem came out and not Doom, yeah, Doom. Like so, it was like, boom, we got first-person shooters, and this thing was the company was LucasArts, was a big company for lots of things, and they took it one step above, properly took it, and then every further game in the series, there was like 5 or 6, upped it a lot, and it like changed the genre again. And later games they also did full motion cutscenes, which actually were like mini movies, and there was the only Star Wars you were getting. They were all post Return Jedi, so you're getting more canon. I think I've played like a bit of it as like an emulator, and it was fun. I mean, it's very, 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 very simple, right?
Yeah,
but it's fun.
I gotta correct myself. Everybody else is Dash Rendar was Shadows of the Empire. That's correct. Yes, this was Kyle Katarn. Yes,
most famous side characters. I want to give this a B for its legacy factor, even though I've not actually played it. Because I've seen a lot of gameplay of it. I know it's like it is still fun today. It's just simple. It's aged very, very well if you look past the graphics.
No, B is absolutely where I think it should be.
But then, I think this one has a certain beauty to the gameplay. The other one's, while technically better, has a... Anyway, yeah. This is cool. And there's actually a brand new remaster of it. I think just playing buyable as well, which they like.
Yes.
Up graphic. But there's like some frame rate problems because the game's hard coded for, you know, the 90. Like, you can't really fix that. There's some things about it that are like, oh, yes. This sounded amazing when I heard about it back in the day, but couldn't play it.
Yep, it did sound amazing. I had it for the PlayStation. It was the most frustrating goddamn game ever. I don't think I got past level 3.
Oh,
I have since watched a complete playthrough of it.
Without the fury.
And there's a lot of really cool stuff later, but the difficulty is so, and the controls.
Make it on easy.
It doesn't matter. It's the controls. They're just so brutal. Yeah, this looked so fun. I remember being excited for it, and I got so frustrated with it every time I threw it in that I just eventually gave up on it and never got past like the 3rd level. So, and I even went back and tried to replay it on because it was one of the PlayStation. You could play it on there, and I tried it again, and I'm like, no, still no. It's just I can't. So it was a very frustrating disappointment to me. So, yeah.
Yeah, I remember the trailer for this being like, that's exactly the sort of game you want. At the time, it's totally original, yet totally based on a part of the story. The original cast comes back in terms of the voice actor. His brings a vibe to it. It's not Jedi, so that's really different. It's underworldy stuff. Yeah, from what I've heard, it's just hard to control, and they made very poor choice of with aim and stuff, and like camera moves, or just like that, just because it took apparently the word like a decade to learn how to control well, and then suddenly everyone could do it, and it's like,
it's a D for me.
Well, if you only get through 3 levels, that's a testament to it's a broken something.
Or I'm a shit player on another.
Well, but let's combine the two and say
Thanks.
But that I feel like it's probably a good movie. Like, not the best movie. I've not heard amazing things about it, but like if you watch it as a watch through, just took out the gameplay and made it a movie, it could be kind of fun. And Zam Wessel's in it, isn't she? I'm pretty sure as a character. Azam, the assassin he hires in episode 2.
Oh yes, she is. Yeah.
I think that's the big expansion.
Yeah.
So they never say a name. Zam Wessel, that's her name.
Yeah. Star Wars.
This surely with your kids or something.
I played a lot of Star Wars Lego games. I don't know if I played this one specifically.
This is the first one.
That
was a bigger deal.
Maybe. I've played a lot of Lego Star Wars games. I don't know which is which. There's a bunch of different ones.
I'll talk about this. So this was a giant deal at the time. I loved Lego. It's exactly my age range when it came out. This was a proper Lego done a few games that were not that successful yet. Some obviously, but this is a proper IP. We can properly do a tie-in that properly makes sense. Plus violence, because they couldn't really do that. This was like, oh no, we can, all that stuff makes sense in Lego now, so we can do lots of violence. Now, what I always remember it is because at the time, it was actually a genuine step above in technology, even though now it looks very basic. I had to bribe my parents to upgrade our computer to play it because it couldn't. And that wasn't the present, ironically. That was just I just begged them. And then I remember I asked, this is the one big present I asked for. We always, back in the day, had like one big present and then whatever else you wanted to get me. And went through all of Christmas, didn't get it. I remember being legit, like, gut-wrenchingly, like, in the soul sad. Because it was, I knew it was expensive, right? I get it. But, fine. And then Mum's like, oh, there's one present underneath this chair. She gets it out, it's a cereal box shape. And I'm like, thank you. And I open it, and there's just tissue paper inside. And she's like, take the thing out. And I put it up, and then the game slides out, because it's much smaller than the big cereal box. But, oh, and my life changed. So I'll always remember that. Damn you, parents. And oh my god, I love you, parents. And then I stole the PC the rest of the day on Christmas from my dad. Really fun, really good. Good, simple story. Just really good, solid A. Didn't control the best, but I didn't know any better.
Problem I have with Lego Star Wars games is I get so frustrated. You destroy things, you get all the little pegs, the little like singles,
Yeah.
and you got. I feel the need to collect them all, and it just takes
All
away
of
from the to running through and just doing things.
This was a much
it
more
gets frustrating.
condensed environments. It had to be. So I almost 100% did everything in this game, and it didn't feel like a giant chore. Later games, you're right, it becomes a bigger thing. But that one, because the simplicity works to its advantage there, it's an A. And the special things they added were really nice thing at the time.
Okay.
Really fun.
My OCD says I can't let any of these things go, and a lot of times I start flashing because you're running around trying to get them, and you miss some, and it's like, ugh!
Especially when you lose 1,000, you're like, damn it!
Yeah, it's frustrating to me, but also fun. So, this one, oh yes, Tales from Galaxy's Edge.
Oh,
another VR for the PS5.
VR?
Yeah, VR. It is quite interesting, this one, especially actually having gone to Galaxy's Edge afterwards. But yes, there's a lot of really interesting characters and to interact with, and some really cool games. There's like a dart game and stuff in the tavern. You get to collect little mini droids like the ones you buy at the Disney. I still haven't found them all, but it is hella fun. Different blasters you can use, and I don't know. I've also streamed this quite a bit. I haven't gone back and finished the game yet, but I need to. There's a lot of collectibles I still need to find. I have finished the game, but I haven't gone back and got all the other stuff. And let's see, what else is there?
No lightsabers and Jedi stuff, I take it?
There is... Yeah, I'm drawing a blank now all of a sudden. Jesus Christ.
I don't remember this particularly. I think, and I might be wrong, that you thought it was too short.
It's... yeah, maybe.
I think I saw you play a bit of it, and you were like, "Oh, is that it?" Or something of that ilk. But VR is difficult to pad because it's like everything takes quite a lot of time to build. Yeah. Oh, done.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I had. This is the newest game, pretty much for PlayStation 5, VR Star Wars wise. But there's a really awesome mission where you play as IG-88, which is phenomenal. Yeah, there's some really cool stuff. There's some really cool stuff like that. So you get his vision, and you get his weapons and his lock-on abilities and stuff.
Damn.
It is pretty fantastic at times. At other times, it's frustrating because you got to find little things in the environment, and you also got like a jetpack thing, so you can like boost and go up to high places, which is fun in VR. But it's also super frustrating because I still haven't found all the collectibles, and it bugs me so much. And it actually reminds me I have to go back in and play this again. But yeah, I was super stoked for this. I had it pre-ordered and played it as soon as it came out. So
yeah, this I have vague knowledge of, but I didn't get my orbit too much.
Mm-hmm.
How does it compare?
There's also there is Jedi powers. Yes, there is. There's Jedi missions. You actually go to a Jedi temple and you meet Yoda.
I thought it was First Order era.
Well, no, it isn't.
Okay, cool.
But yeah.
So how does it compare to Vader Immortal then? If you had to, because they're so different, but that's not what I'm asking.
I prefer Vader Immortal for sure. It just feels more. It's a linear gameplay where this is like you roam around, and if you miss something, you have to go back to that area and walk. It's kind of a lot of trying to find the things you missed, which
possibly
is the most
more a game than an experience. And that might be to its detriment.
This is more of an experience than a game.
Oh.
Because you wander sometimes. You don't know what you need to do next or where exactly you have to go. Whereas Vader Immortal is very like linear, like
Okay.
It takes you where you need to do, right?
Hey guys, keep voting the poll, please. Well, where do you want to place it, Stuart? Because I have nothing personal to add to it.
I'll put it at B.
Okay.
The VR experience is just phenomenal. Regardless, it's just cool being in the Star Wars universe in VR. So, and then to actually see when you go to Galaxy's Edge and actually see the places that you saw in VR first was kind of cool. So, yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. I like it.
All right. What is next?
Guys, your thoughts on questions, let us know. Ah, yes. This is the... it's classed an expansion to Empire War, one of our S's, but it is a substantially bigger experience than that. It was kind of their way of making a game quicker while not doing a full game. So it takes the engine of the Empire War game, and it improves every element of it, which means modders always go to that instead, because it can just handle a lot more. But the story is a weird one, because they did obviously a very, very good Empire vs. Rebellion, the first game. This introduces a character called Zorn, I believe, as you can see at the front, who's the smuggler mercenary guy, and he fights everybody. But he has very radical powers, and he has bounty hunters like IG-88 who can utilize in his armada. The story is far more tangible, because it's not just Empire does this, Rebel does that, so it's a real proper story. But what's fun is that the actual skirmish stuff is just more in depth. There's other layers to it, because they're able to add stuff. But the game itself can just handle more, because you've got third faction.
Can I pause you for just 1 second? I'd like to welcome Hello Greedo. He is here in the chat. He is an awesome YouTuber and Star Wars YouTuber. It's a real pleasure to see you, sir. I watch your content all the time, so thank you for joining us. I appreciate it.
Why is there no Greedo in your logo, sir?
Because he always wears a Stormtrooper helmet.
Oh.
His name is Hello Greedo. I would highly recommend subscribing to him. He is fantastic. So,
very cool. Which do you prefer, Empire at War, KOTOR 1 or KOTOR 2?
He's like the same way with Lego games. He also sucks at puzzles designed for children for some reason. Me too. I'm right there with you. I hate puzzles.
Yeah, I find that some of those levels are like, this is to kill your brain. Why is this difficult? Why is that easy? Why is that a door? Press a lever, and no one's like up there with.
And you try it for hours at a time and can't do it. Put it down for like 2-3 days. Come back to it and you get it instantly.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Or yeah, it's or you look at the tutorial. It's like, oh, the easiest thing was the answer.
Yep.
Because there's a certain childlike, just do it, which we as adults don't necessarily have anymore. But they just anyway. So yeah, this expansion, like I say, because it added the code to make a third faction, it allowed modders to add 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 factions and more units. It just really broadened it out a lot. And also the ground was more fun. It was the same game, but everything was a bit better, even if you weren't necessarily playing it for the core game of the expansion. Is what the game could do now. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I say this is the one you'll play if you play it now with mods, because this is what handles it. I mean,
I'll have to try it,
and I'll have to give you some examples, because if you play it with one of the big like Thrawn's Revenge, it's like the level of detail you have, like something simple as you're playing this Galactic Conquest map where you have fighting for different planets. And it is still a story, so like you go to planet Hoth and it gives you the ability to do this ion generator. Now every planet can now do an ion generator. You go to this planet, it gives you a new Starfighter. That's like, wow, but it can only build that planet. But like, I didn't know this game had that Starfighter. Holy shit. That's all like, whoa, it keeps adding new layers. As a game, I prefer it less on a purely personal level, just because I don't like his faction as much. Although it is very cool, and it is fun that you can have him send, like, you can take over planets via actual takeover or by like criminal takeover, and so you get money for an Empire planet, and they get access to seeing what they have. So it's much cleverer, but I like it a little bit less. But modding, it's triple S. So, and that's obviously Bridge Commander, right? Bridge Commander with mods is something. Okay. Hello, Greedo. You can pick. Is it S or A? Because it's arguably both. It's definitely at least an A. But with mods,
guest of honor.
Yeah, with mods it's double S. That's kind of.
He says I wore the Greedo mask in 2012 or so. It broke it. I've never seen one of your videos with the Greedo mask, I gotta say.
A great name though. I love the yellow. The yellow pops as a stormtrooper.
Yeah, go watch his channel, Sam.
Yeah, I have actually. I was looking. I have seen bits and bobs.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I've worn a Stormtrooper armor once, and it was very claustrophobic, because the plastic of the thing was like here,
Mm-hmm.
and when your brain senses yeah, it's difficult to wear because yeah.
See you later, hello Grudo. He didn't pick, so
He didn't
it's up
pick.
to you. It's up to you.
Is there a super chat that could pick? Because
S or A, but you said triple S for the modding.
which I guess averages back down to S. I mean, it should be an S because the amount of things extra
Right.
are there.
Yeah.
That seemed it's just but I played the first one more, but I spent more hours in this because of the mods. So it's a yeah, and you should definitely play this. I should like get a care package of you with like the game and the mods so you can just play.
Yeah.
Tremendous.
Okay, what is next? We'll grab this one. I don't know what it is. Yeah, Star Wars VR Pinball. This is hella fun. This I just recently got into, and it's cool because you go to it's this basement that's Star Wars inspired, and as you unlock things, you can put posters on the wall. You can put little models and trophies on the shelves, and there's a helmet rack, and there's different like from the original Star Wars game to the Empire Strikes Back to the prequels. There's a whole bunch of different pinball games, and not only do you play in VR, but like while you're playing, like Mando, there's a Mandalorian one. He'll come and like land beside you, and Grogu will be on the left of you, and then he'll like fly off. It's kind of distracting, but it's also super fun. Plus, you can put yourself inside the pinball machine, right where the paddles are, so you can see it like you're in at that level, and it's really quite interesting. And yeah, I've played this quite a bit in VR. Not that long ago, just before Christmas, I was playing this and live streaming it. So I would suggest checking those out. But honestly, just the basement that you have is every geek's basement, and as you unlock different posters, you can put them in different spots, and just adding to your collectibles shelf and your helmets. And when you look out the window, or like it's like a patio door off the one area. There's like a ATST out there. It's kind of neat. It's kind of neat. Pinball sometimes frustrates the hell out of me, but to do it in VR is quite interesting to say the least. So this is just a fun factor.
That's such a tremendous idea actually. Because VR isn't always about what you're seeing, it's about how you're seeing it. To be able to actually stand next to an AT-AT at the correct scale, you've seen it before, you've not felt the seeing it before. So that sort of thing.
That is where the Battlefront comes in. That had the VR X-Wing mission. Because there was the original Battlefront, not this one, but the Battlefront that came after, because there was another Battlefront. It had one VR X-Wing mission. It was the first VR X-Wing thing. Oh. And when you go into it in VR, when you're just playing it normally, you see the AT-AT leg, the AT-AT leg, slam down, you see it walking. But when you're in VR, boom, and you look up, and it's just a full-sized AT-AT as it like walks by. Anyway, we'll get there, I'm sure. But yes, so yeah, this is fun, but for fun factor, I'll make it an A.
I mean, you're allowed to have a thing where like 20 minutes of A-level fun is fine every 2 months. Because the fun can be so good, right? It's like Pac-Man's still really fun. It might only be 2 minutes of play, but it's really fun, you know? Okay, interesting. Interesting.
Next up, we'll get this one, whatever it is.
Great follow-up. So I didn't play it because I didn't have time. This is the same team that made Battlefront-ish, the newer ones, who then people asked, and Thomas Moroni was very happy that he got. This is the full fighters-only game, which you did play, which could in VR, which is quite a good thing for them to do. And it was meant to be like, it was all the TIE Fighter X-Wing games of the olden day, but in modern top-tier graphics. Now, how did you like it? Because if this didn't work, then, you know.
This was fucking great. You get to fly X-Wings, B-Wings, A-Wings, everything wings. And it's all in VR. Even the cutscenes are in VR. So while people are talking, you can look around the room and see what's going on. Plus, you get to see that you get access to the full hangar bay. You see droids zipping around. It is really fun. This one is also playable in just regular without VR, which is it's still fun. It's still really good. The problem with the VR though is it's kind of murky, muddy VR. It's not high resolution images. So the graphical detail in VR is lost somewhat, but to be able to have the freedom to move in VR and actually look around your cockpit, you can look down and see your hands moving the speed, and also for tracking targets, like if a ship flies by you, you can just look and turn to follow it and keep an eye on it, where instead of having to watch your radar to see where it is. So it's like a fighter experience where you can look around, and it's really fun. It's frustrating as hell sometimes, but it's well worth it, and it's very visceral with the way that things happen. So yeah, this is really fun. This is a great game.
I don't remember it getting as much fanfare as it could have.
I was surprised by the lack of fanfare, yeah.
Because people asked for it. But maybe its pure focus on a very good experience didn't quite elevate it enough. I mean, maybe you need a better story, something else to grab it. You know, as we've now learned, there have been loads of TIE Fighter X-Wing games. This is visually the best by an absolute mile. But maybe it wasn't quite. I know this was a much cheaper game to produce because these are all the same assets from Battlefront, which were tremendous. So, like, the catalogue was basically done. And, of course, designing for space is much easier because black, stars, asteroids, level versus ground. Like, right, everything's custom. So it's almost like a half expansion. Not really, but, like, they could reuse a lot of stuff to improve a few things. I remember there's the cockpits are very impressive, though. They obviously had to be in VR. But I was missing one cockpit I really wanted for a fan film. Just didn't do. I was like, fuck, bastards. The one I wanted.
Well, you get like TIE fighters, you get TIE interceptors.
It was a pretty cool one.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what somebody said. It'd be cooler if they had prequel missions, and they could do a DLC, I guess. But
well, that's the thing. Yeah, if it had that Battlefront, well, all 4 Battlefronts like skirmish mode, we could play old and new. That would be tremendous. Like that would open up even to modding, right? Well, imagine if this was like heavily modded, you could bring a Delta Flyer in and fight. But I guess it never took off in the same way.
Yeah. Yeah, I would give it an A.
Yeah.
Although it's fun as hell, and to actually have the cutscenes be in VR as well is really it surprised me.
Successful VR. I mean, for all intents and purposes, that's what people are asking for. It just didn't kick off the way we thought. I thought it was going to be, yeah.
All right. Jedi Fallen Order.
It's the first one, yes?
Yes.
I've still only played the first 4 hours or 5 hours because it's just so long and I have things to do. But it's very fun.
Yeah. I've completed it. I just haven't gone back and done all the other stuff you can do after you complete it. And I played it all on live stream, so same with the sequel. Again, force-wielding. Cal Kestis is a great character. It's a well-written story, I think. The addition of BD1, his little droid, I absolutely love that.
He's a good droid.
All the lightsaber moves and techniques you can use, the customization of the lightsaber, the two-bladed lightsaber as well. It is a fantastic, fantastic game.
So, I know this is... Okay. I've not played all the way through, of course. It's very long. It's way off from a story game. Is it too grounded an experience? If that makes sense. Like too gritty and real versus Force Unleashed.
No. I think it takes what Force Unleashed did and adds to it. Right. There's, I don't know.
It's I know obviously you start lower end, but Force Unleashed, it grabs you from second one. It's so much more visceral. He's more powerful. This guy, it's a real story. It's slower, more methodical, but I didn't get the same power play fun vibe from it. It was fun, but it wasn't it didn't grab me in the same way. And therefore, Star Wars should be about the story, right? But the gameplay wasn't as fun as it could have been for me to grab me just for that. And the story was slower because it was a longer game. Plus, I didn't love any of the side characters or the ship. Art design wise, none of it was like, oh, I want to be on the ship. It was all fine, you know.
I enjoyed the ship. I got used to it. I find with Star
okay.
Wars ships, I think they're kind of ugly, and then you get used to them.
I think the droid's what really sold it for me. The droid I think wins tremendously well.
Yeah.
And the graphically is beautiful. And to start, I can play the start 3 times on a cutting up, you know, Republic era stuff is great. I don't know, it didn't grab me in the way I thought it was going to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. Maybe I've expressed it, maybe I haven't. It's fun, but yeah.
I remember enjoying the hell out of it, so I want to put it as an S tier, but I have a feeling you're going to say no.
Well, I haven't played enough to really judge properly. I would say B just from experience. Well, I didn't get very far, right? Like,
yeah.
I stopped playing twice. It wasn't fun enough. Like, I wasn't, you know, it didn't grab me enough to keep playing. Because I had other things I should be doing, like editing for you and Trekyards or doing fan films, you know. Well, I like seeing Braytech from Stargate. And also, I don't know if it was deliberate or not, but I went to that planet right at the start where there's a monster that throw slime at you and they kill me like 10 times in a row. I'm like, this is not fun. It was unnecessary difficultiness that was like, that was not a good choice by the people. I know that...
What difficulty were you playing at?
Normal. Standard.
Play in story mode.
Yeah. I hadn't even thought that. Yeah.
Ray Ricks, 5 pounds. Jedi Order is S tier. The fight at the end is epic. Oh, the fight at the end is awesome. Yeah. Oh, my hand is starting to cramp up. I don't know why. Yeah. All right, we'll throw it at S tier. I was thinking S, but
yeah, that's A-okay.
Next up.
You played this?
Never played it. No.
I played some of it. This is the well shit. You're not making Knights of the Republic 3, you're making the Old Republic. Because that was a big time when MMOs were big, and if you could do them well, you could make lots of money, and it's still going, so obviously did make it big. I know it's changed a lot over the years. It is actually around the same time, but different as the big games. And they do incorporate the characters eventually in some DLC, sort of. Although for me, it retcons them in a horrible way that I don't like, because I've obviously read about it for story reasons. I played it relatively early on, which is like 12 years ago now. And I played the Jedi for about 3 hours, and I got thoroughly bored of how goody two-shoes vanilla it was. And I had to pay for it, so I paid for a month, you know. Then I swapped and was a Sith, and I got far further on Sith. But MMOs are designed to grind, right? They're not meant to be quick. So I spent easily 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days playing Sith. Far more interesting. You start on Korriban, missions more interesting. I got past the tutorial. Tutorial zone was like 4 days of work just to get past the tutorial zone. But I never got very far in because it just wasn't that fun. And compared to Knights of the Republic, which were excellent from moment one, this was good, but long. And it's sad because, you know, even though they tout this as being like 12 more Knights of the Republic games of story in one, I'm like, yeah, but I'd rather play 10 of those individually and enjoy the sub-stories. But I know people like it. I know it was good. I hope the server step forever so you can keep playing it. But, you know, I'd rather have real story-driven narrative games than this. So
where would you rank it?
Oh, respect-wise, it should get either a high B or low A, because the fact that it's still popular after like 12 years and none of those other games are, that's testament to its quality. And support. And the cinematics for it are absolutely better than the sequel trilogy. If you watch any fan-made, like, announcing Star Wars Episode II trailer, they'll always use clips from that first cinematics. It was so absolutely amazing. It's also redefined, like, how a good Force wielder could do powers, because everything was CG, so you could move more freely, right? And it's still like, that's like next level shit. And then you get like the sequels, like, oh, Rey's just going, it's like, oh, that's fighting, is it? And then you get him, and it's like, wah wah. Yeah. So put it in A, I think, just for pure like legacy, respect, and it is very popular.
We have no more A room then. Classic for real, $2. How much money to bump down all games and put TIE Fighter on S? Well, we haven't got the TIE Fighter yet, so $200.
Sounds like a plan. I second his obscene request.
All right. Next up is
Classic. That's funny.
X-Wing. The first one.
The first one.
It's the one I played a lot.
Yeah, because I only played the remastered version, which was great, so I can't speak to this.
It was fun for the time. It was great to be able to do a first-person simulator in a TIE fighter, or a X-Wing. Sorry, the cutscenes were a little goofy at times and different depending on which system you were playing it on. But you got to see what happened after an X-Wing ejection. You see the little guy floating in space.
Oh,
with
that's
his,
cool.
like, mask on. And that's actually another thing too with Rebel Assault 2. You get to see what happens when a B-wing, when you have to eject, the whole front of the capsule like jets off. So yeah, this was fun. For the time, it was fantastic.
Cutting edge, yeah.
Yeah, I'd give it a B for sure.
Well, that's the thing. Once you have remasters and stuff that just refine the formula, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna put it at B.
And I like this sort of game. I'm looking at some gameplay where you 95% of the cockpit can be a sprite and not move, technically speaking, but because the camera's moving, you feel like you're moving, but you're not. Like, the cockpit's not moving, but you feel like you are. Very clever way of doing that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna do this one.
Oh.
Never played it.
Yeah.
So you know.
This was my second Star Wars game I ever played. Or third. And it was the first one I consider a good game. So this is the, I believe, third, not including expansions, of the Jedi Knight franchise, which was the one that you found the expansion of. It's a KOTOR series where the first one is, him not being a Jedi and getting powers. This is the third, like I say, or fourth, where, okay, we're past all that. Let's have a new protagonist who's a Padawan at Luke's temple. And this is when, they cared about having Luke being a good guy in post-temple, and you're dealing with this brand new plot. Kyle's there as a friend, as a mentor, as a trainer. He jumped in a few times. Luke, you actually fight alongside Luke a couple of times with an okay impersonator. He's alright. You get a real sense of post epicness. Good story to do with an ancient Sith Lord that a cult has found his remains and using his power. There's a mission where there's a lot of creative missions, really, really creative missions. This is where level design and graphics can kind of do some fun, diverse things. In one level, you visit a smuggler type chap, and at one point you accidentally he forces you into his Rancor pit, but it's like a multi-level death zone, and that's a boss, and you have to. It's really fun. At one point, you also accidentally stumble upon the Hoth base because you're looking for something else on Hoth, and you fall down into it, and you get to walk through the entire set piece of Hoth, and then fight stormtroopers because they're still around. The ending is great. It's one of the first games to have a multi-ending where you make a choice early on, and there's two different endings that are entirely different, which is great, a good and a bad. Really good lightsaber combat. You actually can slice people up properly, dismemberment. And the few levels are really, really special art design. I know this is not most people's favourite at the set, but it's technically, technically the best. I enjoyed it as an S level because it was like next gen for me. And I think you'd still enjoy it now. It holds up. It's a bit goofy now, like a little bit goofy, because like forced jump, your boy does this. But you can go like 3 stories, but it feels like fast, so it's not annoying.
Yeah.
Easy an A. Like, this is top A. Like, this for me beats Battlefront or Commando, because it's just really good to see Luke and to, I think Han's in it at one point or Leia, like one of the other two. You have all the guns, feel good. Yeah, S or A, and I think you'd enjoy it pretty well. And squad levels, I'd love to put in a fan film, like how nice I like the levels.
Well, you said S, so put an S.
Yeah. I see Luke, in a game as a character, which is pretty rare. So the first of the new ones. You did play this one.
Yes.
Okay, thoughts?
I enjoyed the hell out of this, honestly. I really love the graphics in this one, and just the I don't have much else to say except the gameplay is just phenomenal. This is also the one that has the X-wing VR mission, the first VR mission. It's in there, and I played that a lot more than anything else in that. But anyway, I never really played it a lot, to be honest. I played Battlefront II after this one much more, and this one doesn't even have a campaign, does it? This first one. Second one does. And the campaign's really fun in the second one, but this one is just multiplayer.
Yeah, this was a funny one because the trailer for this broke the internet. Like in terms of visual quality, it still looks amazing today. And I remember I played it at my friend's house from uni, and you play it and you realise every mode is a quick game format, which then becomes mildly tiring after a while because you want a little bit of depth. Looks beautiful, but there's some shocking. Why is that not in the game? Why is that not in the game? Okay, we do the basic stuff, but why is this not in the game? And it was definitely a 3/4 baked product, but made them lots of money. They used the same engine to make the second one, and the second one does everything in the kitchen sink. So, but it's amazing how this one, even using the name of the previous games, which felt like such a cheat to me. Like, I mean, brand recognition, guys. And compared to Battlefront II, the original, which had space combat, land combat, Jedis, all the prequels. This one's like, we've got clones. We've got Empire and Rebel, and no other combat. Yeah. It's like, heroes, no. It's like, so everything that's less. It's something else less of a game for more money. That looks nicer. Why? And they're like, because we're different companies. Like, okay. So it felt like a huge step down everywhere except graphics.
Yep.
And it was. B for quality of experience, but it drops the ball in many ways. And like you say, no one talks about this after the second one came out. It's almost like this was the pre-game, which is kind of remarkable, actually.
Yeah.
That was a poignant thing to say. This one I played, I believe.
This was an improvement over X-Wing. Better graphics, better story, but you're the Empire. You're a TIE fighter pilot, and the cutscenes were a lot better. It was all around just an improvement. And then they came out with X-Wing versus TIE fighter, which was again an improvement because you could do both. So, yeah, the hours spent doing this one and enjoyed every second of it.
I remember Oh, yes.
I got some super chats. Classic for real, $2. A blonde Sith chick in Jedi Knight 1 was uber hot.
There's some good people in that game.
And Sturm Von Ulk, member for 42 months at the Rink events, and says Star Wars Galaxies pre-update was the best. Yeah.
I remember thinking that you were a bit easy to kill in this game. Like,
you're a TIE fighter, man. You don't have shields.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I also like if you're out of paper, the mistakes were penalised.
Yes.
But I remember the stories being remarkably compelling for the time, for what little you had. Great variety of fighters. That I thought was really surprising how many types, and it was very satisfying to kill the goodies. Because you were fully bad, right? There was no like swap. I'm happy with this a straight B or a little bit higher. Like just that like fun value. But where would you go on it?
B.
Yeah, right up there. I think if the story is more memorable, I'd maybe give it an A, but very strong B.
I think Classic for real is going to be mad at us for that, but because he likes this game.
Yeah, it was really fun. Yeah, Missile Boat was great. I remember Missile Boat. Yeah. I think no, it's easy.
Benjamin Stone, £10. S easy, great plot, awesome game, and gave us the TIE Defender. There you go. We'll throw it up to S then.
Yeah, I remember it was way.
All right, moving along. Star Wars Angry Birds.
Okay, it's pretty fun.
It was hella fun.
It's really fun, yeah.
I had to include this because it gave me a laugh.
Stuart, I want to give that an A. No, yeah, it's a fun A. It's a silly A, but it's a fun A. Yeah, it's good. It's a good time. I remember playing that. I got bored at my grandma's because there was no internet for a long time. I remember playing like half a campaign at my grandma's house on the sofa. I had a great time just ignoring my family. It was really fun. Yeah. I was like, might be our quickest ever, Stuart. Oh, you went S, did you? Oh, okay.
There's 2 Fallen Orders for some reason, but that's okay. All right. The complete saga.
Yeah, so
This
is
is
obviously
the latest one.
No,
No?
this is the I don't think it's. I think that one's different. Hold on.
There's so many Lego games. They're not all on here.
I'm pretty sure this is the one that introduced the prequels, like properly made all 6 as part of the experience.
Yes.
Versus, and that kind of ended the saga of the original batch, and they redid everything.
I think this is the one I played with my kids the most, if I'm honest.
I mean, this was great because it improved everything, notably. And it had that original charm to the nth degree. I think this one was just before we finally had voice lines. I'm always thinking they were a bit, not empty, but like you weren't connecting in a story way, and then everything after would do voice lines and make it funny and have their own jokes. And yeah, this I played a lot of because it was fun to go through. Where did we put the other one on?
The other one is
A. I'd give it the same because it is the same, just more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd agree. This is. I remember running around as Qui-Gon Jinn in like the cantina. Before you go through the level select doors.
Yeah. And stabbing all.
I remember seeing that screen a lot with my kids playing
because they couldn't load too much in the game, so you had to do it as going through things. Yeah. And it was really, really fun, that one in particular, to actually have characters. Because that one, the first game had a lot less characters, like a lot less. This one had a ridiculous amount, therefore it was fun to like walk through this mission as Luke, because that's a prequel mission. I know. That charm really kicked off in that game that the other one just didn't quite have. And the newer one's called Star Wars Saga, where they actually redid everything from scratch.
Gotcha.
Which looks like that one is. I haven't played it, but it looks incredible. And I know it's got.
Yeah, I wanted to get it, and I just never did for some reason. I'll have to consider
it's
getting it.
really good. I've seen some like top 10 jokes in that game, and it's really clever. Yeah.
Next up, Jedi Survivor.
Down on you.
Hands down, better than the first one. A lot more action, a lot better story. I think.
Got beard.
Well, yeah, customization, character customization's off the chain. But yeah, there is so much to do and so many side missions and side quests to do. There's a Boba Fett mission that I haven't done yet. There's a lot of bonus stuff like that.
Very briefly.
Yeah, it's a one mission. It's a one kind of fight.
I think that was a slight complaint. Like, we got Boba Fett. Goodbye. Oh.
Yeah. And again, played this, streamed the whole thing live. Not all at once, because that'd be crazy. But yeah, there's so much to go back and do again that once I finish the main campaign, I'm like, I'm going to go back and do it, and then I never really do. And unfortunately, I need to do that. So for me, it's easily an S. There's just no way to say it's not, with the first one being an S tier. So S++. Yes, Charizard. Classic for real, $5. Okay, fine. $5 more to keep TIE Fighter in S tier. I'll spend remaining characters to thank Benjamin Stone. Also, repeat how hot blonde Sith chick is from Jedi Knight 1.
Yep.
All right, so TIE Fighter.
It's a good character in that game. Good characters.
TIE Fighter's already S tier.
Yeah, also removed it. Yeah. I think they're pre-fiving that if it goes down by somebody, they keep it up.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
So now someone needs to lower it by 1 because he's already pre-upped it by 1.
There you go.
Is this our biggest S to A ratio of any ranking so far?
Yes, absolutely.
And
there's
no
so much,
Fs, which is kind of shocking.
So much quantity and quality in Star Wars games. So,
but also we can judge it at to its time as well. We're not removing that from the equation. Which is helping, of course. Go for it.
Fun as hell. Great campaign, beautiful visuals. You get to do everything from like running through bases to flying an X-wing. It's so varied. Plus, there's a lot to unlock, hero characters and stuff. This one caused the problem with the microtransaction thing, which they fixed, by the way. Everybody still hassles it for that. I absolutely love this, and I've only really played it once. I've been tempted to go back and do it a few times since. And now that we're talking about things today, I think I really want to put this back in and play the campaign again because it is really a fun ride. Yeah, unfortunately, no VR mission, though. The first one had a VR mission. This one doesn't for some reason. I don't know. But
yeah, this was one that I think most will share the sentiment about the first game. We'll wait for the next one. Like, that's when it'll kick into gear. And it's sad because I remember part of the promotion of this, because it's quite new still, was that we're doing everything that we didn't do in the first game. You're welcome. And then microtransactions and the broken multiplayer of that literally went from being wow to fuck off over the course of that 3-week launch period. And it soured the blue milk so hard for people that it became a notable failure in that like regard. Like, what should have been a giant success. What's interesting about it is that it maintained constant updates until very, very recently, and so playing it now, buying it, but playing it, and there was less people than you would have thought would be at the start. They added the Clone Wars in, the TV show era, and the prequels, and the sequels, because it was coming out with the sequel movies, so there'd be new Kylo Ren, new Last Order, or whatever. It would go add like Ahsoka stuff, Mandalorian, like it would add, or not Mandalorian, but it would add stuff that would be like, wow, proper expansion. You know, go play Ryloth from the Clone Wars with the Clone Wars characters. Go play Ahsoka. Go play, and the list of heroes has become exceptional, and random characters like the Republic Commandos, I believe, were in it from Republic Commando. Like, they probably said, what else can we add to it? Because we really want, and it's now the definitive way of playing because there's so much choice, having now been like 6 years of constant we're sorry, that it's a huge experience, and more levels and more guns and more spaceships, and yeah, it's definitely one that you should just sit down and play now. I do believe I did download it a year ago because I wanted to see something. My new GPU. It was like I got the new GPU. I thought, oh, let's see what I could do. I was shocked how nice it looked. Obviously, I doing it full, and I was on like an Naboo mission. I was like, oh, wow, it's nice. But also, I've got a life to lead. But also, that's really looking nice. And it's still, just tremendous. And for the modding community, it's been a big love fest of adding new things, modifying costumes. Because there's also some very odd missions in the roster that are like, and they've added them.
Well, Classic for Real says, fun fact, someone data mined Battlefront 2 and found out there's a ton more characters in the code that EA never officially unlocked.
Oh, do you have any examples? We'd love to hear. But yeah,
for me,
I mean, this has got to be an S in terms of just it gameplays from it, and the story was pretty good. It wasn't as good as it could have been, I thought, because I was excited by the premise, which was you start as your Empire, post movies. That's cool, and they absolutely, spoilers, cop out and make you good by level 3. Literally, it's so quick.
Yeah.
And then you just become another X-Wing pilot, basically, and it took away what they were promising as a premise. Now, it would have been fine half and half, or 60-40, but it absolutely copped out on the premise very early on. But the Luke seems great, and it actually was a direct canon, because this was actually a canon game, which is very unusual. So the mission in this that you reference in either Force Awakens or Last Jedi, it's specifically like, it's a line, right? But it's in both, which is great to play Luke for a thing, a proper Luke. And I remember they did like some sequel DLC with like a Kylo Ren expansion, but then they never did a double expansion to it. This is like a cliffhanger that doesn't quite. I don't know. It's a big game now. If you haven't bought it, and play it.
I got it for the PS4. So.
Yeah, I don't know if they got all the updates, but yeah, if you want the definitive Star Wars shooter experience, that's it. I mean, it has everything, really. And it looks beautiful. So.
All right, we're down to 4 left.
Okay, cool.
This is S tier.
This is Esther.
Yeah, there's just nothing else to say.
Well, I mean,
No, there's a lot to say. You start off as Darth Vader with full force powers, killing
your own
Wookiees
men.
on Kashyyyk
Your own men.
and your own men. Yes,
No shame.
It's just you get all the powers out of the gate, and it is so awesome to just wield force powers and just be knocking people over left, right, and center. And oh my god. And then the story is very intricate and well woven and ties in with the original story, and it's what happened behind the scenes kind of thing. It's fun. It's fun. I just love the whole story and the character of Star Killer. It's just awesome.
Yeah, it was one of those for me. There's a few Star Wars game defining revelationary moments where the tech, the ambition, and the story all came together to make something. Ooh, that's special. It was same for Knights of the Republic, same for Empire at War, same for Battlefront 1 mostly, and then same for this. It was really fun, really powerful, obviously special. They were very big on the destruction physics, so if you threw people into things, they would destroy it, and it felt legitimately additive. The story was very good. They used proper full mocap, so it was actually it felt at the time certainly like a medium budget animated movie, which was very nice with fleshed out characters. The great robot was tremendous. They used a few fun visual gimmicks throughout that kind of let you have a moment like fighting Darth Maul for realsies, and grabbing a Star Destroyer for realsies, and the ending on the Death Star for realsies. Really, really clever. Possibly a little bit too cartoony in now, obviously retrospectively, like it wasn't quite as like 10%, right? A little bit, but very fun to find the special stuff to get the armor, different suits, different lightsaber colors, different hilts. That was really fun. I love playing like with a yellow blade or a white blade was fun. The ending's tremendous. The alternate endings with the DLC really clever, like genius, and it should have been the start of a trilogy of amazing games that would just be like genre defining. And they dropped the ball because they were made to. But this stands out as being extremely good. I would love to see a proper 4K remaster, re-release, like upgrade, because the exact same everything, but update the graphics. Because a few of them are janky. I think of the planet where you fight the lady Jedi, the green planet. It never looked good to me. They were trying, but never quite looked right. That could do an upgrade.
An introduction of a fantastic droid in the form of Proxy.
Yeah.
A training droid. I freaking love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, really fun. Yeah, just really fun. This is S tier. The other, almost as good as a movie. Almost.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really fun. And the fact that it died a death is sad because it should have been more games. Oh, there you go. Yeah, the other one. Yeah, I mean, didn't play it, but I've seen lots of stuff about it. People love it. Massive scope. You can fly around the galaxy. You can pick missions in any order. You can play all the. You can fly to Coruscant. You can fly to all the planets. You can do all the movies. They redid everything from scratch, so all the new tech applies and all the levels of all the movies. They like a 600-person cast list with loads of radical abilities. I mean, it's got to be an A or an S just for like it's the epitome of this genre. I know it was just well liked, and loads of expansions came out for it. I just didn't have time to play it because I need to have lots of time to play it.
Yeah, I've never played it, but I'll agree with your A for that. Okay. We are missing one here. Hold on. Let me copy paste. Because we got a little tile version, but we don't have the full-size one.
No. Well, guys, we're nearing the swappable moments, and we'll have a few super chats to help us that. You guys have done tremendous by the end to super chat a bit. Let us know some thoughts.
Shadows of the Empire. This one was Dash Rendar. Based on the book, and actually there's not only based on the book and the game worked side by side to tell the story, as well as the comics. There's videos on YouTube that go into all the stuff that's covered in everything on this, and I remember playing this. It was hella fun, and It reminded me of Dark Forces, um, which has got a beat here. This, though, with Shinzon, or what's his name? Shizor. That's it. Shizor.
Prince Shizor, isn't he?
Yeah, Prince Shizor, yeah.
He's great in the books.
It was great. The books were fantastic. This was a fantastic way to tie in books, comics, and game, and I really enjoyed the hell out of this. You get to fight Boba Fett in one of the missions. The last couple missions, or the last boss, is super difficult. I don't think I ever got that far in the game.
Ooh.
But yeah, this was a hell of a fun game. And all the tie-in merchandise, even toys. I had some of the toys. I collected some of those. And yeah, it was just a multimedia project, essentially, that was fantastic.
What was the actual game type, though? Because I know the media, just not the game.
That's exactly like Dark Forces, first person, or third person, sorry.
With the animated sequences, or the live action sequences, sorry?
They're not live action.
This is just before that stage, okay.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
I think there's been a remaster done of it.
Ooh.
But
fun.
Anyway, yeah. Fun game. So I take it you never played this?
No, but I've read the book.
Ah, okay.
I mean, great.
Well, this stuff. I want to give an A, but we're running out of room in A. But there we go.
Yeah, the giant shoulder pads.
Yes.
And I remember the ship is tremendous. The Millennium Falcon. I love that design. It's the other they did a great design, and it's almost as good as like a movie design, but it's for games. Yeah.
All right,
this
so
is definitely the start of that kind of like we can do more.
Yeah.
Sort of game. Yeah, that's great.
Well, we got 3 more now because even though I said we had 4 more, we added some.
Oh, crazy!
Right.
So we mentioned Academy, but there are 2 games before Academy. It's the third one, Jedi Outcast, which is I believe the second one. Kyle Story. This one is Jedi Academy, just slightly less advanced. With Kyle, great story, some problematic controls. Everyone loves it. Most people say this is better than Jedi Academy because if you love Kyle as a character, this is his story, and is very very similar, just obviously a different story. I played a bit of it, not a lot of it, because I just didn't have it as much. I think I was lent a copy, because CDs lent a copy, and I was forced to get it back, so I didn't play very far into it. But I know it's legendary, so I'm happy to say a B. That's because I can't do more because I don't know. But I know it added a lot in the scheme.
Gotcha. All right, next up, Jedi Knight.
Earlier one's the first one, and this was the one I believe that started the cinematic cutscenes with actually having full live action video. And this was literally like, oh my god, we've got more Star Wars movies. Full cast, full character. They look far better than the actual game itself, but we didn't know that at the time. It's much better than Dark Forces. It was a big improvement. Jedi's was the big sell. Carl's a big sell. I believe he doesn't get his lightsaber for a while, which is a bit of a stupid thing. And it's meant to be cheesy and cheeky and silly, like the villain is daft and easy C because it controlled somewhat poorly. I think at the time you'd say happy B or A, but they incrementally get better as the series goes on because just they refine it. And I like Academy, but yeah, well respected, and I would like to go back and play these because they are all good stories. I know they are. I just need to. But for ages you couldn't play them on PC because PCs were too advanced, ironically. But they're becoming all backwards compatible now, so.
All right, so I gotta see this here, and now.
And then the one from earlier. Have you played this one, Stuart?
Nope.
Have you heard of this one, Stuart?
Yes, of course I have.
Okay. Now, lots of people prefer this to the other one. I'm not one of those people. Knights of the Republic 2 Sith Lords. It is the other company that made this game in less time that were rushed and had to cut like 15% of the game to release it on time, which is a shame. And in fact, the modding community did such a good job because some stuff existed in the code. They rebuilt those levels. The audio files were still there, And then the company, like the remains of the company years later, took the mod with permission, put it back in the game, and then released it as an official. Now the mod is the official release of the game. Because it just like fixes it after 20 years. I don't like the story.
Huh.
I don't like the story anywhere near as much. Like, not even close. It's clever. The villain, Nihilus, is great. Can't remember the broken guy. I know the characters are more intriguing. I know the twist is also good. I don't love the ending that much. I know it's deeper, darker, more mature, but it's less cinematic to me. I know the controls are better. It just didn't hit me in the same way. And it felt like a less interesting to me sequel. It's great, but I prefer the first one in most ways. I also just like the environments more and such.
So where would you put it?
God. Oh, dear. I think it'd have to be a low A, because it's certainly up there with Battlefront. But I would say low A. Yeah. Because definitely, like, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Can we stop adding things to A, please?
Can we Star Wars the Star Wars? Yeah, I know people like it more in a lot of ways. I just like the story and the characters better in one. A lot more better. Yeah, that was
a lot more gooder.
A lot more gooder. That's a me thing.
Yeah, and we don't care about a you thing.
Oh.
So you said what? Sorry, B?
No, A. Low A.
A.
Yeah,
so I'll put it there for now because I need to shuffle some things here.
But with her respect, I'm just so intrigued by the lead character of the first one, whereas your what's the, I don't remember the character's name of the first one, the Exile, and also goddamn the Parabas mining colony fucking sucks. Whenever you start 2, you wake up. The first 5 seconds is great, but you wake up as mining colony. It takes about 2 hours or an hour and a half to get through it, and it's really boring. Like, it's okay, but like once you've done it once, you've done it enough. And it's so constrictingly small. And so there's literally a mod that says just skip Parabas. Boom, done, right now in the game. And it's just much better that way. I can't be asked to play that. But there's one, anyway, but yeah, I don't like some of the themes. What do you guys think? Are you a fan of the first or second one more? Vote now! Vote now. In fact, I asked that as a last minute poll as well. But you asked, I asked, do you have one favourite Star Wars game? Yes! One stands out, 55%, Stuart. Nah.
Wow.
1 to 5 is 32. And only 12% say lots of good I can't pick. So people can pick their favourite.
Interesting. I didn't think that poll would go that way, honestly. I think there's just too many good games. Like, as we can tell by this friggin' list. Look at all the A's. My God. Yeah, so, I mean, I'm sure we haven't covered all the games. I'm sure there's other ones we might have missed. But, as you can see...
Not a lot, though.
S and A tier, man.
Yeah.
And there's a new poll. Do you prefer Knights of the Old...
Yes.
Yeah, the Old Republic.
1 or 2.
1 or 2.
I just wanted to say. Okay, so now we're going to give you 4 minutes to do any movements. Because I would like to get a few more super chats.
Okay.
Just quickly, anybody else throw in? Because I feel like some contrast is going to be important here. Because I feel like I have some thoughts already from this relist. Now we've seen... I think A is probably too busy. What do you think?
Yep. I want to move this one already. Just because...
Please let us know. Tell the audience, Stuart, our plans for the rest of the week.
Tomorrow we're doing ranking hero ships in Star Trek. And Thursday we are doing... Oh, yeah, just a ship discussion live. You guys really seemed to enjoy that last time, so you tell us what ships you want to talk about. We'll pull them up and talk about them live with you guys.
You guys asked for it.
You did.
Bring it back.
There we go.
Discussing the things and bobs with you guys. Because we are ships, we know ships. Well, we'll be here for you all.
We almost need a Star Wars Lego games ranked tier because there's so many of them just on their own.
Well, we'll move some stuff while we wait for anyone else to throw some stuff in. Can we move both the D's to F just for contrast?
Yes.
Okay. Now, what can we move from C to D, do you think? They're all ones you know, but I think some shuffling needs to happen as to make things feel more balanced.
Yoda Stories and Racer. Those, I think, deserve to stay there.
Okay. So I think I would put the Lego First Storm down to a B, because I think, technically speaking, all the achievements the later ones have to go above it. Down to a B. Anything you'll see?
All these ones I don't know should be moved down more. No, just kidding. Ray Rex, 2 pounds. Oh no, Star Wars NES. 10-year-old me loved that game. Yeah, I didn't include Super Star Wars and Super Empire Strikes Back. Those are really interesting games, but yeah, there's a lot we didn't include. So,
that Star Wars Rogue Squadron, should that be a B or a C? The one next
Rogue
to... If that's what it's called.
Rogue Squadron?
Is that a B or a C?
That's easily a B.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if you put any from B down to C that you thought were not quite up there. Or was it just about shuffling a couple?
Yeah. Star Wars Pinball VR is variable depending on how much you enjoy VR and pinball.
Well, that's like Angry Birds. It's smaller.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Because S has some top tier stuff, right? Those are all, for what they do, they're all top tier, right?
Yep.
And then A, the ones I know, the gameplay is what's keeping in A. It's just more personal preference, and they're not quite hitting the story mark. Because like Battlefront, no story. Old Republic, not so much for me. But then it would feel bad to put Force Unleashed 2 down to a C, because its gameplay is still so strong. Dark Forces is so damn iconic and still fun. Battlefront 1, again, it's just fun. It's not amazing though, but it looks incredible. Like it's a movie. It's a movie on a video game. I guess maybe that is the only change, and I thought we were going to do. I thought there might have been a few more.
No, we did a pretty good job, honestly, first time.
Well, do you have any okay, my shock at the whatever. Do you guys have any suggestions last minute? If not, we'll close out on that. Well done, Star Wars. You done good, son. You done good. Hey, at least I made you space on A.
At least you what?
At least I made you space on A.
You did, and we're just readjusting now because I think it's the final.
I think you would really enjoy Republic Commando. That's a game right up your alley. Just for fun.
Oh, I'm sure I would. Like, I'm sure a lot of these games that I missed,
it's
like
not
the
that
Empire at War, I think I would absolutely love.
Oh yeah, we would have fun. I managed to play one game once with a friend online because the servers and such. I trounced him. It was great. It was a good time.
Well, anybody else have anything they want to say? Now is the time.
Empire at War mods. Let's see if I can sell you any of the mods. So we've got a legitimate Halo giant mod, Mass Effect War mod, Republic at War, which swaps every single thing out for a Republic era, but like invents new units.
Star Wars chess video game. Have you played that? Battle chess, but Star Wars edition.
No, that sounds cool.
It's funny as fuck. Anyway, yeah.
I will say I've put embarrassing amount of hours into Empire at War. Embarrassing. Just embarrassing. So many hours.
Yeah.
And the Stargate one's really fun. It's very, very satisfying. And they're still making it. They're still updating it as a mod. They've added the replicators and the all sorts. You can get a super gate and all things, and it's really fun. Yeah, I guess we did it, Stuart. High five. We're amazing Star Wars people.
I feel bad that I haven't played a lot of these, which I thought I did.
Yeah, it's funny. I've played on the old ones for obvious reasons, and you've skipped out on a ton of the newer ones, or the middle new ones.
Yeah, something must have been happening in my life at that point where I was just like, "What the?" Because usually I was still buying this shit. Like
that's like 2002 to 2007 time, I'd say 2008.
Yeah.
You had some real life.
Yeah, must have
Lucky.
Seen some shit.
And now you can play on PC at full res with a PC 10 times more powerful than I even could imagine.
Yep.
But our poll, 10 votes. Happy to report that my vote, KOTOR won 60% enjoy more. Yeah.
Nice.
I'm going to close that so it doesn't swap. Yeah.
General Grievous, honorable mention that Star Wars mobile game Uprising.
Yeah, there's a couple of good mobile games actually. There is a couple. Yeah, but they're simple, right? They're not, I did quite enjoy Heroes, which I actually enjoyed quite a lot. The variety of people was fun. I have another one on here. Oh yeah, Star Wars Angry Birds doesn't work on the latest Samsung phone.
Yeah.
There's the unable to play on our machine anymore. Yeah, can't do it. So,
That sucks.
Yeah, it does. I always transfer my games even if I don't play them, just so I have a physical version of the files. Yeah, can't play anymore. It really annoys me.
I think I still have it on my phone.
I wonder if Apple or if they keep the whatever. Boo! But I don't think Angry Birds are really a thing anymore. Like, I don't know if they it was a zeitgeist for a while.
I didn't have it on my phone, but I did, but it wasn't. It's just downloading right now. So I tapped it, and it's like, oh, I need to install that.
Well, there you go. I got them another download, eh?
Yeah. Well.
Ooh, Stuart.
Yes, dear.
Breaking news: the NSCA Protector is a hallmark ornament this year.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to scoop
I
that
think
up.
we're all going to buy that, aren't we?
Yep. Yes, we are. All right. Thank you guys for watching, and tune in tomorrow for Hero Ships Star Trek.
Mm-hmm. I wonder how much debate there will be.
Lots.
Probably.
Battles, even.
Oh. And polls that you might all not agree with. So that'll be fun.
So join us.
Yes, please do. Yeah, thanks for joining us.
To be fair, we got 41 likes, which is awesome.
Yeah, thanks to the Super Chats, guys. They help, obviously, a ton. Get ready to vote tomorrow. And then, like I said, Thursday, there'll be Ships one, which will be throwing some fun curveballs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks so much,
So
guys.
until then, that guy down there, he's Commander Cockings.
He's Captain Fenwick.